यूके यूनियंस सीक फाइनल नेल इन द कॉफिन ऑफ पीएम ट्रस। अब यूके की जो यूनियंस हैं वो चाहती हैं इनको तत्काल प्रभाव से जो है इनको हटाने का प्रबंध किया जाए और इनको टाटा बाय बाय किया जाए। तो जितनी ट्रेड यूनियन है वो सब ये चाह रही हैं कि अब इनको हटाया जाए, यहाँ से इनको विदा किया जाए। अभी तो बनाया लेकिन अभी आया, अभी बैठे, अभी दामन संभाला, बोले अब चलिए हो गया आपका काम, जाइए। सब इनके खिलाफ में खड़े हो गए क्योंकि महंगाई इतनी ज़्यादा हो गई कि आम आदमी का वहाँ जीवन जीना जो है वो मुश्किल हो गया है, बड़ा मुश्किल हो गया है। लेकिन लिज ट्रस को लेकर एक वीडियो है, करीब 8 मिनट का ये वीडियो है। अगर आप सब कहें तो मैं इसको प्ले करता हूँ। बहुत इन्फॉर्मेटिव है, बहुत आवश्यक है आप सबको देखना इसको, और ज़रूर देखिए कि आखिर लिज ट्रस कौन है और कैसे इनको प्लांट किया गया यूके का प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनाने के लिए। जी हाँ, प्लांट किया गया। आइए देखिए। "55 टफ्टन स्ट्रीट, यूके इकोनॉमी वॉज क्रैश्ड हियर"। अब ये क्या चीज़ है 55? आइए देखें ज़रा।
This is 55 Tufton Street in London. You may have heard of it, or maybe not. It's not your average address, because from the moment Liz Truss took over as Prime Minister, Britain was, in a sense, being run from this building. It's home to a group of lobbying organisations that for years have pushed an extreme economic ideology.
तो इकोनॉमिक आइडियोलॉजी, एक्सट्रीम इकोनॉमिक आइडियोलॉजी का ये एक गठजोड़ है, ये क्लब है जहाँ से सब कुछ चलता है। ये कहना चाहिए हेडक्वार्टर है जहाँ से चलता है। क्या चलती है? विचारधाराएं।
Free market fundamentalism. They're hostile to regulations that protect the environment and workers' rights. They think companies owe a duty only to their shareholders and not to society more generally. They don't like the NHS or the social safety net and instead think the market can solve every issue. In short, they believe the market is God. And when Truss moved into number 10, that ideology became government policy.
जैसे ही ट्रस जो है प्रधानमंत्री बनी, वो जो इनकी आइडियोलॉजी थी 55 नंबर वालों की, वो गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी बन गई। कैसे, ज़रा इसको देखिए अब आप।
Policy like the disastrous mini budget that crashed the pound, raised mortgage repayments and dramatically hiked the cost of government borrowing, making most of us poorer and necessitating a series of humiliating government U-turns. Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng are very familiar with this black door. One leading Conservative commentator, Tim Montgomery, has even said the PM and her short-lived Chancellor were incubated by one of the lobbying groups clustered around this building.
तो साहब इनको इनक्यूबेट किया गया, लिज ट्रस के बारे में कहा जा रहा है इस वीडियो में। इनको इनक्यूबेट किया गया इसी बिल्डिंग में, यहीं बैठकर प्लान बना कि इनको कैसे आगे भेजना और कैसे प्रधानमंत्री बनाना। कौन कौन है इस बिल्डिंग में जो जहाँ लॉबिंग होती है? कौन कौन है इस लॉबिंग का पार्ट? आइए देखिए।
So, what organizations are we talking about? Well, they often have innocuous sounding names that cloak their fundamentalist agendas. For starters, there's the Taxpayers Alliance.
नंबर 1 है टैक्सपेयर्स अलायंस।
And the Global Warming Policy Foundation. Next door is the Center for Policy Studies. And just around the corner from here are the Adam Smith Institute and the Institute of Economic Affairs.
सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत की बात है, ये जो नाम लिए गए, ये नाम, इनमें से कुछ नाम भारत में भी काम करते हैं, तो ये बहुत चिंता का विषय है।
Tufton Street network comprises a tiny group of people relative to the rest of us, but aided by secretive donations, they exercise a reach and influence that far outweighs their numbers. And one of them has just become Prime Minister. When she entered number 10, she opened the door to an army of Tufton Street ideologues. She made this guy her chief economic advisor. He's Matthew Sinclair. He's the former head of the Taxpayers Alliance.
ठीक है, तो ये जो इनके चीफ इकोनॉमिक एडवाइज़र हैं, ये टैक्सपेयर्स अलायंस के सीईओ हैं। आगे देखिए।
Based here. After delivering his mini budget, Kwarteng was pictured celebrating with him. Truss's interim press secretary, Alex Wilde, was research director at the Taxpayers Alliance. Her health advisor, Caroline Elson, was senior researcher at the Center for Policy Studies. Truss made this woman her senior special advisor. She's Ruth Porter, former communications director at the Institute of Economic Affairs. While this guy, Julian Jessup, is one of her main advisors on the economy. He's also a fellow at the Institute of Economic Affairs. In fact, every time Truss has got a new government job, she's recruited her advisors from the Tufton Street network. It's just that this time her new job is being Prime Minister. According to the head of the Institute of Economic Affairs, Truss has spoken at more of its events than any other politician over the past 12 years. 2 of Truss's meetings with the organisation were deleted from the official record, then reinstated after the deletions caused the scandal. In 2011, Truss was the supposed founder of a Conservative Party organisation called the Free Enterprise Group. The organisation's webpage was registered by Ruth Porter, who at the time worked for the IEA. The IEA supplied Truss's group with media briefings and organised events for her. 12 members of the current cabinet, including several of its most senior figures, belong to that group. Today, if you try to open its webpage, you're redirected to something called the Free Market Forum, which calls itself a project of the Institute of Economic Affairs. That same year, 2011, Truss teamed up with 4 MPs from her IEA-affiliated Free Enterprise Group, including Kwarteng, to write a book called Britannia Unchained. In it, they said the British are among the worst idlers in the world, and laid out an ideology of tax cuts for the wealthy, gutted workers' rights, and funding cuts for public services. In other words, the Tufton Street agenda. What else do the people in and around this building believe in? In February of this year, King's College London hosted a debate on the motion, should the NHS be privatised? Speaking in favour of the motion was Christiane Niemitz from the Institute of Economic Affairs. The Global Warming Policy Foundation, based here, has been described as the UK's most prominent source of climate change denial. The group has previously been found to have spread misinformation about the science of global warming. Truss's pledge to end the ban on fracking was lobbied for by the Adam Smith Institute, where her longest-serving special advisor previously worked. Then we get to Kwasi Kwarteng's recent mini-budget. The policies he announced were vastly more beneficial to the richest in society than any other group. He handed £1 billion a year to just 2,500 multi-millionaires. From the cut in corporation tax to the cut in the highest rate of income tax, it was a budget that could have been written in this building. In fact, it kind of was. Because here's how the Tufton Street network reacted. The Taxpayers Alliance boasted that multiple measures in the mini-budget were policy wins for them, including the abolition of the 45p tax rate. The Centre for Policy Studies boasted that they bagged 7 campaign wins with Kwarteng's budget. The Adam Smith Institute said so many of Kwarteng's proposals were things they'd advocated for. While the head of the Institute of Economic Affairs responded to the claim that Truss was incubated there, that Britain was now the IEA's laboratory, by posting a self-important sunglasses emoji. The mini-budget was, by their own admission, very much the work of these campaign groups, which begs the question, who funds these groups? In the main, we don't know, and they won't tell us. We do know the IEA has received donations from BP and ExxonMobil and, along with the Adam Smith Institute and the Centre for Policy Studies, from the tobacco industry. The IEA and the Adam Smith Institute have also received millions of dollars from American groups that also funded climate change denial. But in general, we simply don't know who paid for the campaign to have the British government adopt a form of fundamentalist extreme free market ideology. And of course, it all happened without the inconvenience of asking the voters if they had an opinion on all this. Truss was elected by just 0.1% of the British public, those Conservative Party members who supported her. When one journalist asked if Liz Truss has handed power over to these so-called think tanks, he received a one-word reply from the head of public policy at the Institute of Economic Affairs. That word was, yes. For decades, these groups have been claiming that they have all the answers, that if only we'd listen to them and do what they want, then they could perform an economic miracle. When Liz Truss took power, so did they. And it took them just 3 weeks to crash the economy and destroy a Conservative Prime Minister.
तो सब कुल मिला के इस वीडियो में 8 मिनट के इस वीडियो में तमाम सारे आरोप लगाए गए। आरोप क्या लगाए गए? तमाम सारे उन सबूतों को दिखाया गया जिनके ज़रिए लिज ट्रस को प्लांट किया गया, इनक्यूबेट किया गया यहाँ का प्रधानमंत्री बनाने के लिए। किस किस ने इनक्यूबेट किया? वो तमाम सारी एजेंसीज, वो तमाम सारे NGO टाइप के जो कहते हैं कि हमें ही सब कुछ इकनॉमी के बारे में मालूम है, और जो ये दावा कर रहे थे कि इन इकनॉमिक पॉलिसीज़ के आने के बाद, ये टैक्स कट होने के बाद, देखिए इसमें अरबों खरबों का खेल है। ये पूरा एक जो है एक नेक्सस बनाया गया और इस पूरे एक कोलेजियम टाइप का बनाया गया। सबसे पैसा इकट्ठा किया गया कि टैक्स कट हो रहा है, और वो पैसा जो है सुनने में ऐसा है कि लिज ट्रस तक पहुंचाया गया। तो बहरहाल जो रिवर्स उल्टा बजट लाए थे, जो देश के लिए नुकसानदायक था लेकिन कॉरपोरेट्स के लिए फ़ायदेमंद था, ऐसा बजट ही लेकर आए। उसकी वजह से पूरी इकोनॉमी क्रैश हो गई। और इनको लाने वाले कौन? वही लोग, वही कॉरपोरेट्स, वही लोग जो इनको फंडिंग करके वहाँ तक पहुँचाते, वही लोग इनको वहाँ पहुँचाया, और उसी का नतीजा देख रहे हैं। तो पे बैक टाइम था लिज ट्रस के लिए, उन्होंने पे बैक किया भी। तो कुल मिलाकर बड़े कमाल की बात है कि इतने बड़े बड़े पोस्ट पर भी कुछ लोग ऐसे पहुँचाए जा सकते हैं। ये सुनने में ही थोड़ा अजीब सा लगता है, लेकिन एक्चुअली में ऐसा हो रहा है आप सबके सामने। चलिए साहब आगे चलते हैं, और भी बहुत कुछ रहा है, और वो है आपसे संबंधित सीधा सीधा